Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Supergirl, the return from the mid-season finale, which wasn't that much of a hiatus, which was great. I guess because Supergirl started in November, so we don't have to wait as long. I will say that next week there isn't a new episode, though, which is really weird. Why didn't they just start next week instead? So we have to wait another week, and then we get new episodes again. Kind of confusing, but that's schedule. For whatever reason they're doing it. But let's start talking about this episode in particular. So it really leaves off right, or starts off right where we left off in the mid-season finale, where Non and Supergirl are fighting. And honestly, that opening scene was really well done. I liked how they used a super speed, and it was actually some of their best flight fighting since the pilot, I would say. So I thought they did a good job with that, because that's been a complaint in some of the action scenes in the show, but I think they've been getting better with the flight type fighting, and that was definitely shown in this episode. Other things happening here is that Hank Henshaw gets kidnapped. So General Lane comes in to say, alright, well, we gotta figure out a way to get Hank Henshaw back, but not trade Astra for Hank. So most of the episodes, them trying to deal with the plan and seeing that Lane is very driven by the fear of aliens and the unknown, and Supergirl at first is kind of driven by fear and kind of the unknown too of her future, and then she realizes what she has to do, and she has a support system around her that she's able to, she's kind of able to figure out the plan after. So I thought that was interesting. And of course, other things we're dealing with is the Cat Grant situation after the mid-season finale, where she thinks that Kara is Supergirl, which obviously we know Kara is Supergirl. And they figure out in the end of the episode, after Kara finds out that Hank is actually John Jones, that they do the switcheroo that we've seen in comics so many times, and then Kat's like, oh, I guess you're not Supergirl. So let's start talking about the Cat story, because that was actually the one I was most interested in, and honestly the one I was most disappointed in with this episode. Because I was really looking forward to seeing how Kat would interact with Kara post Secret Revealed. And I thought it would go a different direction and not be so predictable. And it was really predictable. I felt, we knew the Martian Manhunter thing could happen. I think this is more for comic book fans, though. Mainstream media fans are going to be like, oh, that was a cool switcheroo. But if you've read comics before, this is like a huge cliche in comics, and I'm usually cool with the things they do in Supergirl that are comic booky, because I love comics and some of the cliches that they play with. But here, this is a cliche I don't like, is the switcheroo of secret identity stuff, because I like a good secret identity reveal and kind of seeing a surprising reaction to a secret identity reveal. And I thought Kat, in my mind, like I said in my mid-season finale review, I thought it would have been more interesting for Kat to treat Kara the same, and to say, well, for you to be the best Supergirl, I have to treat you the same. And it was the complete opposite in this episode, is that Kat couldn't treat Kara the same. She says, well, you could help more people if you weren't working here. So she's put in really in a corner, and they have to do the switcheroo in the end, which is cool for the Martian Manhunter effects, and I guess the relationship between Kara and John. But for the relationship between Kat and Kara, we know this is going to come up again. We know. It's only season 1. Kat will find out that Kara is Supergirl. Maybe there will be so much character development that she'll take it differently. I don't know. But I just was a little disappointed, because I thought that was a really good identity reveal, that finally a character kind of used its wits, or used their wits to figure out the identity reveal. And it was like, oh, it's so obvious, it's you. So hopefully in the future they can handle that thing better. I understood why they couldn't do it, because again, it does kind of ruin the dynamic on the show, but at the same time, I kind of wish they didn't bring it up then, and maybe use that identity reveal in like season 3 or season 4, like in the future. So that was a disappointing part in this episode. Good stuff in this episode was definitely the themes. Again, theme of fear, and all the themes that we always get with Supergirl, but, you know, being an alien, being an outsider, and what ties you to people? Is it blood? Is it friendship? And you see Kara, she obviously has ties to blood, and that's how she gets out of the situation with Non and Astra, but she's also human in a lot of ways because she grew up here, and you see that connection with James, with Wynn, with obviously her sister, and even the soldiers that she saves. So I love those ideas, and I think the strongest part of this episode was the Kryptonian stuff. And usually I'm like, oh, I don't like the flashbacks and stuff, but I thought the flashbacks were really well done here, and I love the thing they're doing with Astra's character. Now, one part I'm kind of uncertain that they should have put in this episode was the Maxwell Lord stuff. As much as that ending was like, oh my god, what's happening? Who is that? I honestly don't know who it is. But it kind of had this robotic arm in the end, so I was like, is it like a 2.0 of Red Tornado? Probably not, but it'd still be really interesting to see who that villain is in the end. But yeah, I didn't know if the Maxwell Lord things fit, because there's so much going on with Cat Grant, kind of the back and forth with that, the Kryptonian stuff, which was a huge thing in this episode, which I think they should have just concentrated more on this episode, and the Martian Manhunter stuff. But yeah, Maxwell Lord obviously is going to be a big arc that they're going to have to follow throughout this show, but yeah, I think they didn't really need the Maxwell Lord thing here, or so much of it. Like the whole Jimmy and Wynn thing, I think it was just too much in the episode. So overall, I thought it was a good return to Supergirl, but I did have some nitpicks, but there were obviously more personal nitpicks with the Cat and Kara relationship. And very excited to see obviously where it goes, and there's a lot in store for Supergirl that I'm excited about. Still don't get the week hiatus though. Kind of confused with that. Kind of wish we got more Supergirl next week. But those are my thoughts on the episode. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the return of Supergirl. And of course, I'll continue to review it when the show is on. And there's actually a lot of TV shows this week, which I'm happy to see are returning and premiering, which I'll review. So, hope you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later.